Now at 5:30, a water gun mistaken for a real weapon at a Newton playground. Police now sending out a warning.
Clouds clearing out, setting the stage for a nice and warmer weekend.
And we're just hours away from the King's coronation. The finishing touches happening as the world waits to watch the crowning of King Charles. 7's Kim Casey is in London with a look at all the excitement ahead of the celebration. And Drew Barrymore is leaving a popular award show without a host. The reason behind her decision.
7 News at 5:30 starts now.
First up at 5:30, a gun scare on a playground in Newton. Police say a water gun was mistaken for a real firearm, and it turns out it was just all part of a game.
But parents who were at the park with their young children say it was too close for comfort. 7's Dan Housley reports from Newton.
Troubling gunplay at this Newton park prompting a police warning. Wednesday night, police say a person was spotted coming out of the woods next to Newton Highlands playground with what looked like a gun, while 25 to 40 children played in the area. A neighbor called police. It turns out the gun was this Glock-style water pistol, and police say the person holding it was a teen playing a senior assassin game, a game of tag of sorts.
Right, that's not a good example, like for all the kids to have like a gun like that at the playground.
On Facebook, Newton police paired the picture of the water pistol with a picture of a real Glock gun to drive home the point of how dangerous this kind of game can be.
Our officers are trained. They see a firearm and they perceive it as a real firearm. They have to respond appropriately.
Newton police say in this case, they quickly found the teen and he responded responsibly to the officer's commands and explained it was all a game. Police say they know that game is continuing and they're asking everyone to play it smart.
If you're going to use a water gun, use a actual water gun that looks like a water gun. Use a water balloon, use a water bottle, use a hose. Do not use a gun that looks like a toy gun that looks like a real gun.
Yeah. Newton police say they've talked to students and parents many times before about the dangers of these so-called assassin games. But this latest incident shows that another generation needs to be reminded before this lesson is learned the hard way. We're in Newton. Dan Housley, 7 News.
And state police are searching for a woman who stabbed a man in an apparent case of road rage in Newton. It happened just after 9:15 last night in the parking lot of the Dally Rink. The man was taken to the hospital. And a fiery crash in Minden. Police say the driver of this pickup truck hit a utility pole early this morning. The truck caught fire. Uxbridge Road was closed while repairs were being made to the power lines in the area.
We are learning new details from the MBTA after a heavy piece of metal fell and hit a woman. The 200-pound utility box fell on the platform of the Harvard T station Monday. The woman was taken to the hospital and is okay. The T says that equipment was installed in 2011 as part of a pilot program. Those boxes have sensors to detect biological agents, but haven't been used in 10 years. The MBTA says all 13 of the remaining utility boxes, like the one that fell, have now been removed.
An inmate getting called to court today in connection with the crime from 10 years ago. Raymond Wallace pleaded guilty to multiple charges against him, including assault and battery with a dangerous weapon and escape from a penal institution. Back in 2013, while incarcerated, Wallace was escorted to Mass Eye and Ear to get treatment for an injury. Police say that's when his handcuffs were removed and Wallace grabbed for a deputy's gun. In the struggle, the deputy was shot in the leg. That deputy survived. Today, Wallace was sentenced to 12 years in prison plus an additional 2 to 3 years for his attempted escape.
New at 5:30, Boston Mayor Michelle Wu announcing a new program to help everyone have a safe summer in the city. The mayor launching a new $100,000 grant program. Neighborhood associations, tenant task forces, and community organizations can apply for the money. The city hopes it'll be used for programs to establish positive relationships in the community and help prevent violence in the neighborhoods. Organizations can apply by May 22nd.
The coronation of King Charles is just hours away now. You're taking a live look at Buckingham Palace over in London. The historic ceremony happening tomorrow. It's the first in 70 years. More than 2,200 guests are expected, including world leaders. Among them, First Lady Jill Biden. She arrived in London and met with the wife of the British Prime Minister there today. One of the First Lady's granddaughters also made the trip for the historic event. And today, Charles met with members of the public ahead of the coronation. The monarch meeting people lined up behind some barriers right near Buckingham Palace today. And Charles will leave the palace in the morning to head to Westminster Abbey. That's for the coronation ceremony. It's a moment decades now in the making. 7's Kim Casey is in London with a look back at his life leading up to this moment.
The coronation now just hours away. At 74 years old, King Charles is the oldest sovereign to take the throne, and he has been preparing for this moment all of his life. The birth of Prince Charles was headline news in November of 1948. And in just 4 years' time, he would watch his mother be crowned Queen of England. Now, 70 years later, it's his turn. By his side at Saturday's coronation will be the love of his life, his wife Camilla, who for years was cast as a villain for breaking up a fairy tale marriage. Charles' first wife, Princess Diana, famously described Camilla as the third person in their marriage. But over time, it became clear that despite the pageantry of the 1981 wedding and the birth of an heir and spare in the years that followed, Diana and Charles were not meant to be. The couple divorced in 1996. A year later, Diana was killed in a car crash in Paris. The Prince of Wales would accompany his sons William and Harry in a procession behind their mother's coffin to Westminster Abbey. Prince Harry writing in his memoir that his father was never made for single parenthood, but he tried. That strong sense of duty has been a theme throughout Charles's life. He was the first heir educated outside the palace, sent off to boarding school when he was just 9 years old. The same year, he became the Prince of Wales. Prior to his investiture ceremony in 1969, the prince spent a term at the University College of Wales, learning to speak Welsh and getting to know the people. Charles would go on to train as a jet pilot with the Royal Air Force and embark on a naval career just like his father and grandfather. As a prince, Charles used his position to advocate for environmental causes, launching a number of sustainability initiatives. And through his royal tours and travels abroad, he's worked hard to familiarize himself with a wide range of international issues. Now, as he takes over as monarch, he will look to carry on his mother, Queen Elizabeth's legacy of service. Charles's various charities have already earned him plenty of praise. He has helped with his Prince's Trust more than 1 million young people in the United Kingdom since 1976. That's it for now from London. Back to Boston.
And our coverage of the coronation doesn't stop here. Coming up at 6, a royal fan has a once-in-a-lifetime encounter. She shares what Princess Kate revealed to her ahead of the coronation. And Kim is in London ahead of all the pomp and circumstance with the King's coronation. She'll lead our special live coverage of the ceremony tomorrow morning. That gets started at 5 a.m. right here on the news station.
Now on 7, a show of solidarity for the writers on strike in Hollywood. Actress Drew Barrymore is supporting the group by stepping down as host of the upcoming MTV Movie and TV Awards. That show is set to air this weekend. 7's Brandon Gano has more on Barrymore's move and what's next for the show.
We're going to spend an hour.
Drew Barrymore is standing up for writers by stepping down. The celebrity talk show host and lifelong movie star announcing she is no longer hosting this year's MTV Movie and TV Awards. In a statement shared with CNN, Barrymore said, "I have listened to the writers, and in order to truly respect them, I will pivot from hosting the MTV Movie and TV Awards live in solidarity with the strike." With their contract expired and no agreement with movie studios, Hollywood writers went on strike Tuesday. A main sticking point, writers' share of pay for shows on streaming outlets. Late-night shows are already shut down and airing reruns.
Better pay and better writing conditions. They need to be able to support their families, pay their rent, have better conditions in the workplace. I came up at a time where we could do that, and I want that for these young people.
MTV has said they respect and support Barrymore's decision, and as of now, Sunday Night Show will go on without a host.
Barrymore said she will return next year to host the MTV Movie and TV Awards. The last time Hollywood writers went on strike was in 2007. It lasted 100 days. In the newsroom, I'm Brandon Gano, 7 News.
And the World Health Organization has officially declared COVID-19 is no longer a global health emergency. The organization says the virus's downward trend for more than a year has allowed people in most countries to return to their normal lives. The U.S. is set to let the COVID-19 public health emergency end next Thursday. And the head of the CDC, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, announcing she's stepping down. Walensky says the waning of the COVID-19 pandemic is a good time to make a transition. Her last day will be June 30th. Walensky has been the agency's director for a little more than 2 years. Prior to serving as the head of the CDC, Walensky was the chief of infectious diseases at Massachusetts General Hospital.
Still ahead here at 5:30, an umpire sucker punched at a high school baseball game. What he says led up to his alleged attack by a parent.
Saw the sunshine return this afternoon. It sticks around into the weekend with warmer temperatures. Your full forecast ahead.
Then ahead at 6, a Pembroke Elementary School student rushed to the hospital and a staff member is now on leave, accused of bringing an edible to school. The student's father talking to Just One station.
And crews continue to clean up the damage left behind from an explosion at a chemical plant in Newburyport. It's all coming up for you right here on the news station. We'll be right back.